This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace world and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide inside of Al Snow's captivity dungeon here, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Hey, man. I was going to say, it looks like you're either in Stu Hart's dungeon, but that's definitely where we keep Al. So
yeah.
Just don't pin the location where I'm to rescue him from said dungeon. And,
he is.
From the looks of it, you need to restock the Haribo gummies to make you poo.
And that's the thing. I had to move him around, and he was kind of aggressive this morning, which was kind of lousy. I think we take good care of him down here.
Well, he's jacked, so I mean, just
it's kind of tough. It's a good thing we had that blackjack, the one we hit him on the top of the head, and just puts him out. I appreciate the restock on that, but now he's over there. Just sit down. Just sit. No, they're coming. They're coming. So, here's the Pod Squad's here. Good morning, Pod Squad. Adam broadcasting from Haunted Basement. Adam, don't sit in that chair. Someone definitely. I'm pretty sure they may have, sir. It is entirely possible, Nate. And if you're in danger, Adam, blink twice. I will let you know if anything is wrong here. But good morning, everyone. Here we are live. Meanie, how are you, sir? Good to see you again this lovely morning.
Doing good. On this warm, balmy Sunday morning. Doing good, man. No complaints. Well, I could complain, but who listen? How are you, sir? You're in Cleveland for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm here.
Congratulations for letting for WWE allowing you back. I mean, it's an accomplishment, and means a lot on your merits. That WWE trusts you to interview their talent. Mm-hmm. So I've been watching your content online as you do it. And I stand here in amazement that you can do all that stuff and get it out as quick as you do. So
It's I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I am always grateful to be here doing these kinds of events and doing these things and building our brand as the Butts Carlton Media Enterprise empire conglomerate that we're working
with. We'll never not laugh at that name, but go ahead.
It's literally the fucking LLC, dude. The funniest thing in the world. I got that paperwork and it was like, I remember putting it together and Mrs. Goober I printed it out. I had papers on the counter and she was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh, it's the new LLC thing." And she was like, "Did you literally name that company Butts Carlton Media?" I was like, "Yes, that's actual physical tax documentation will have Butts Carlton Media name on it." But no, it's cool, man. It's really exciting. Cleveland is Cleveland. But it's been fun. I got a chance. I actually interviewed Rhea Ripley. I had 3 people that I wanted to talk to. Rhea Ripley, Bayley, and Jade Cargill. I got all 3 of them yesterday. So my Rhea Ripley interview is out right now at Foundation Radio's YouTube page. And then awesome. Bayley and Jade Cargill's will be out later this afternoon. And like I said, with our show too as well, it's just a matter of being able to just sit down and edit everything and bang it out, get the clips together, get the reels together. It's a lot, but it's worth it because it gives us the opportunity to grow and get visibility. And, I can't, and also for the Blue guy, I can't tell you how many people I've seen this weekend that have, that listen to the show. I know people listen to the show, but it's like, "Oh yeah, you're on Mind of the Meanie with Blue Meanie. I love that show. How's Meanie doing? Everything's good." So it's cool to hear that feedback from people that,
a lot.
We do. Yeah. It's and also too with shout out to a friend of the show from Busted Open, Dave LaGreca. Finally met him in person this weekend. Very energetic, very lively as always. He wasn't screaming about the story, which was a good thing, but he was upstairs talking to Cody yesterday. Great guy though. Looking forward to talking to him again.
Love Dave. He's so good.
He's been great.
For a guy who's got a show as big as he is, he's so down to earth. Yeah. I love him. But
Super approachable. Yeah. So I want to also, the other people that I know that we love, Meanie, is the Pod Squad who's here with us today. We got a full house today. Andrew Bailey is here. What's up, big dog? What's going on? Travis, good morning. Hey now. And good to see you. And Vanessa is here as well. Good morning, Vanessa.
Hello, Vanessa.
And also I want to give a shout out to the homie Nate Smythe, Sheridan Ford Sales. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
So we are saying big happy birthday to Mr. Nate. We appreciate you. And Nate, I appreciate all of the messages you send me during the week about all the shit you see. He speaks the meme language very well. And Nate actually has a great video on his TikTok where he talks about it's like, I don't know, it's got like 6 million views or something like that. And Nate, you can correct me if I'm wrong and I'll put it on the screen. But he talks about what would you do if your wife wanted to leave you for Chris Evans? He'd be like, I'll help you, Pat. I get it. He's handsome as hell. Fly, bird, fly. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. And like, I don't know if when I saw it the first time, I didn't connect it for a second. I was like, oh fuck, that's Nate. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like you watch that stuff sometimes and it doesn't always register, but yeah, that is an impressive video, sir. But yeah, man, life is good out here. How are you is the better question, Blue Guy. How are you?
Doing good. No complaints. Other than the Phillies stinking, but getting ready for, Eagles, training camp is, kicking up. Looking forward to that. I am, this drops Monday, but, I've got an invitation to go to Eagles training camp this Monday.
Cool.
Over at the NovaCare Center. So excited for that, to get to see the Eagles practice, in an intimate setting. They had a practice over at the Lincoln Financial Field, and for a practice they drew 50,000 people.
50,000?
50,000 people went to watch a practice.
Jesus Christ, man!
That was amazing. So. Doing good, man. Excited about, disappointed in the Phillies right now. Excited for the Eagles. SummerSlam's tonight. Excited for that. There's so much to look forward to. They've really built this SummerSlam up really good. And unfortunately, this drops Monday. We're talking about something that happened 2 days ago, but these are my thoughts right now. It's mine and DeMeanie. These are my thoughts right now. And, I watched the live kickoff show yesterday. They did from outside the stadium, which was a lot of fun. I like when they do those things, and guys do things, half kayfabe, half shoot, and it's fun to read it between the lines. And then besides SummerSlam this Monday, as you're listening to it tonight on Peacock, they're debuting a Damian Priest documentary, which I'm excited to see. I'm a huge fan of Damian Priest. I was fortunate enough to be a part of his career, part of his comeback. I mean, I wasn't the sole reason for his, comeback or, he turned his career around big time, and be there and live in person and witness it, and then to see what, everything he's going on to become is, really awe-inspiring for those who, if you think, you don't have a chance, it's never too late to, turn things around and make something or do something that you've always wanted to do. And, that airs tonight on Peacock. I assume after Raw. So, but, can't wait to watch that. So, wrestling's doing good, man. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan, good time to be a wrestler. And, I can't believe it's August already.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
I love the summer. It's my favorite time of the year. I love when the sun's out until like 8:30. Got my windows open, got the AC on, just, good times, I don't have to, I'd rather be too hot than too cold,
Yeah, for sure.
If you're too cold, you got to fucking layer up, and you look like Ralphie's brother from A Christmas Story, I can't move my arm. But summertime, get a little naked, just tank top and some shorts.
A little bit.
Don't worry, I'm not bottom nude today. So
I was just gonna say, do I have to put the screen up again? I'll do it.
Yeah. Throw up the X.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Blackjack Mulligan would throw the claw on somebody, and they'd get the color, and they'd have to put a big red X up on the screen in certain markets, censor.
Oh man,
to make it look more brutal. And you would have to do that if I stood up. But yeah, man, excited.
Mine would just be the littlest X that you could find, like the smallest font you could find. To be fine, button and a fur coat.
The blue dot.
Put a dot over his face.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited, man. It's like, it's crazy that we're already into like August and that fall's coming. And, I'm a big fan of hoodie weather. Like that's like the perfect time of year for me is hoodie weather. But I will say the day that this episode drops is my birthday. It is my birthday. I am 39 years old. I am excited.
You son of a bitch.
Listen, man, it is a good time. So
30.
I am.
Be 39.
I can't believe it. To be 39 again.
What year were you born? What year?
1985.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Yes, I'll be 39 today. As you're listening to this, it is my birthday, so I am not sure what I'm doing other than eating a key lime pie for my birthday, which is my favorite treat of the year. Crazy that
for Mrs. Meanie birthday, she always has to have eggs Benedict for breakfast.
Nice.
It got to be like some kind of weird, fun variant of an eggs Benedict. So you do key lime pie.
Yes, that's always that's like when Mrs. Goober's like, what do you want to eat for, what you want for your birthday? Sometimes I'll throw like, I want to go to there's a great diner up the road from us called Green Street Grill, which is right on Lloyd Avenue there. It's like, I want to do breakfast, but Lloyd Christmas. It's usually key lime pie. That's like my go-to. So that's what I'll be doing on Monday when I get settled and situated. As you're listening to this, I'm probably enjoying key lime pie, and I'll probably be enjoying it through the week. And it's always a good time. Thank you all for the happy birthday messages in the chat here. We appreciate you. Yeah, man, 85 is a great year. I can't believe I'm going to be 40 next year, which is kind of fucking me up a little bit, but
I had a friend who was about to turn 30 and it fucked him up, and like, dude, you'll be fine. Trust me. And now he's he's married and has a couple gorgeous kids, and see, you made it. You did good.
You did fine. Yeah.
I just turned 51. My life didn't end. I'm still here. I still have a pulse. Still have Mrs. Meanie. I still have everything that makes me happy. So
yeah, that's the goal, man. Right? Like that's as long as I have my family and everything is good, man. I'm in a good place. So it's good, man. Yeah. I am excited to see what happens, as we're recording this. It'll be tonight, but we're excited to talk about it next week. Lots of good energy around here, like we talked about last week.
Hey, how's the vibe there in Cleveland? You're on the ground. You're our roving reporter.
I wish I had the Action News sound. There it is. It's been wild, man. I think a lot of people that we've talked to in the Muscle Man Malcolm, and also too, if you're not following Muscle Man Malcolm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you should definitely go and follow him right now. He's been doing some on the street location interviews. A lot of people really excited about Punk and McIntyre. That seems to be like the big match. So that's going to be a good one. I'm really hyped to see that one. But the other thing I wanted to mention too, because I know that he is a colleague and a friend of yours, is Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Tamatanga winning the tag team championships last night from Do It Yourself. And I want to get your thoughts on it as well, because any chance we have to talk about Jacob Fatu, we're going to do it. But I love the way, and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. I love the way that they're presenting him as a character.
Yeah.
Quiet in some aspects, right? Just very facially, almost expressive. But he is a fucking monster. I was saying to Malcolm and some of the other folks we were rooming with here, I would love to see Jacob just brutalize Cody and just terrorize him in the ring. Almost like I compared it to when Brock had that squash match against Cena a couple years back when he just like destroyed him. Like that's I think for me how I would want to see that.
I believe that was a SummerSlam as well.
Yes, yeah, I think it was. But I think like if they're going to take the strap off of Cody, it should be like almost like a killing Superman kind of storyline, right? And that's where I'm at. How are you feeling about Jacob Fatu?
So here's how I'm viewing this angle, and again, this is 2 days after, so this is I could be right, I could be wrong. Here's how I see it. I see it as, well, first off, they had the segment last night where Solo, confronts Cody in the ring. He has his henchmen around him, and he challenges Cody to a Bloodline rules match.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be careful how I can construct this right off the fly, because it's something I noticed last night. I was like, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
This is what's going to
Yeah, this is where we're going with it. Yeah.
They laid it out for you for all to see, and it's going to be, if it happens the way I hope it happens, or I think it's going to happen, it'll be electric. Okay, Solo challenges Cody to a Bloodline rules match. Cody says, I accept it, but you're not the head of the table. You're an imposter.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that during Cody versus Solo is when Roman Reigns, the true head of the table, comes back and takes out Solo and helps Cody retain the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he said, because the true bloodline, he agreed to the bloodline rules match because the true members of the bloodline will help him in the match battle the bloodline 2.0.
Right. Exactly.
That's the way I think they laid it out. And that's the breadcrumbs they, put down that I picked up and ate. And that's how I think it's going to go. I think Cody retains. I think he owes, maybe Roman a rematch or whatever. But that'd be hard to do if he's babyface too. But
right,
I think Roman definitely will have his hands full I believe Roman comes back tonight.
Yeah.
With maybe the Usos by his side to confront Solo and his version of the bloodline, and we'll see how that goes. But that's definitely where I see it going. I definitely see Cody winning, and it's crazy that that's the world title, undisputed world title match. But Punk and Drew is, I think, really the match that everybody's really itching to see, because since Punk came back, Drew was the one throwing the temper tantrum, ringside.
Yeah.
At War Games, throwing the temper tantrum, and both him and Seth, and now Drew's wrestling him and Seth's the referee. Going to be very interesting to see how this works out. Everybody in that ring hates each other in some form or fashion. So, and I think that kind of gives Seth a little bit of levity of who do I hate the least?
Yeah. Who do I hate the least amount here? That's who I want. I don't want any of you to win. You all suck. Yeah.
Right. But since I have to be an official, gonna call it right down the middle, Daddy. Just there's my good friend Bill Alfonso.
Yeah.
But just SummerSlam is, can't wait to see it. Watch it tonight and on the cock. And
put it on the cock.
Now, what do you think? What do you
I think you're pretty much tracking where I'm thinking with this bloodline stuff. I think I don't think Cody's losing, and it also speaks to I don't know if there's anybody that can really take the title off of Cody at this point.
It's way too soon.
it's too soon, but I also don't believe that there's an effective challenger, right? Like, I think they've done, like, the way I look at Cody's title reign is a lot like what the story of Rocky Balboa, right? Rocky 2, he beats the champion, you know, he gets the decisive victory again and he beats him. And then Rocky 3, I think, is going to be the story that they kind of interweave with this. But I think Roman definitely comes out tonight for sure. And I think he returns. And I think it sets up it definitely sets up the match for War Games, which is where I think they're leading to, right?
Yeah.
My only question is, like, as I don't necessarily know if I see Jay right away with Roman.
Right.
I could see Jimmy coming out and being like, look who I found, you know, like, look who's here, that kind of thing, right? Because, like, you kind of have to remember, like, Jay spent all them years being brutalized by Roman. And now when he's back and he's, like, you know, trying to redeem himself, he's like, well, I'm not going to do this, right? Like, I'm not going to just let you get away with whatever you got away with and be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do that. So I think it's going to take a little while for him and Sammy to come back around, because I think Sammy's going to be in the mix as well.
Yeah, it's got to be the OG bloodline versus 2.0. And the funny thing is, the other night, the other week, I pointed out, I said, yeah, I believe, 2.0 is going to face Roman, Usos, and reunite with Sami Zayn. Somebody went, but Sammy's on Raw. I was like, well, how does that even matter?
Who gives a shit?
Like, he's actually contractually designated to Raw, and if he goes off Raw, somehow he's going to get fined or something. It's like,
actually,
he's on Raw. I'm sorry. Those are he's got to stick to those parameters and borders, you know.
With War Games, who gives a shit? So is Jay. Jay's on Raw too. Like, who cares?
And that's another thing. Jay and Sammy have been tagging. So they're already kind of a pairing. They tagged a couple weeks ago on Raw. Yeah. And, they've already lined that up to where, hey, they're already putting two of the pieces together to potentially come back and team with Roman.
Yeah. And I think too, because I can see Braun Breaker winning tonight too. Like, I don't see a world where Braun Breaker doesn't walk out of Cleveland as the Intercontinental Champion, which then frees up Sammy to be a part of whatever they're going to be doing with Jay and Roman. But
Sammy got his win over Braun Breaker. It's been established that he can beat Braun. So from what I think is, Braun gets the title and he's bumped up a notch in the eyes of the folks. They already know he's an amazing athlete and a machine. He's a killer, and he could be the next big thing,
right.
But his quickness, his brutality, I could see him winning the Intercontinental title tonight.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's exactly where they go with this story. But I think you're right. Overall, I think you're correct. I don't see Solo winning. I know there's rumor about Jacob Fatu facing Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble this year, which, again, like, watching Jacob wrestle is just something special, man. Like, just something unbelievable. The guy is just
fun. It's fun to watch people see for the first time the thing you've known all along.
Yeah. Yes.
He's been our hidden gem, on the indies, and you see him wrestle in MLW, and you're like, man, if he gets on the global stage, some people are going to be stunned at how good he is. For a guy, that big, be that agile, that moonsault's incredible.
I love watching. It's a work of art, man. It's a work of art when he does it. It's just, and again, we talked about it last week too, but like the fact that he's dropped a significant amount of weight, like for someone to, but even like I said, I remember watching that Hammerstone Fatu match. I think you were at that card. Yes. You were in the mixed tag match, or the what was it, 10 or 12 tag team match. But watching Jacob actually physically move like that was, for a guy his size, was like, he shouldn't be able to do this. And it's just unbelievable. But I truly think that Jacob is going to be championship material, and I think he's going to be the guy. So absolutely. I think it's just a matter of time, right? I think, and again, perhaps that's where the bloodline story goes. You know, perhaps we get to that point where Jacob becomes like, I don't want to say ruthless killer, but you know, like the intent behind that, where it's like he's the guy. He's going to be the guy that takes the bloodline to the next level.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think, I think that's pretty. I think it's going to be a very interesting night to see what happens, and then again we'll talk about it next week. But one thing I wanted to talk about real fast too, as well, was a photo that actually appeared, made the rounds this week. On social media, which blew my fucking mind. Was allegedly a meeting between Tony Khan and Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because that shit was a doozy, man. That was something wild to see.
Yeah. Man. I mean, there had been hints that, Shane was potentially talking to Tony Khan, and then Tony, killed it for some reason. Like he killed the rumor. Which I was like, why would you kill a rumor like that? Even if it's just a rumor, don't address it. Let people talk about it. Nothing helps a company better than a good rumor. It's not like a detrimental rumor. Where you would go, oh man, I gotta get out ahead of this.
Right.
People hear things all the time. So the best sell is the no sell. And then he killed it. And then you're like, all right, whatever. I'm kind of disappointed that he would let, go out there and kill his own rumor. But then the photo, comes out this week and it's just like, I wonder, like, were they genuinely, photo bombed? Did somebody legit take a photo and run off? Or was it like, hey, take this photo. We'll act surprised and, let's create some buzz, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if, somebody walks in, you're having a meeting, somebody walks in, snaps a photo, you would think somebody go, hey, come back. No, you can't post that. You can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. If I don't know what they, if say Tony rented a room out and, supposedly it was at the airport, I believe.
Yeah.
And,
some kind of airport meeting. Yeah.
Airport meeting. And I don't know who would have access to go in that room and take that photo. It makes you wonder who took the photo. Was it planned? And, after the guy took the photo, how did they react? Did they even try to, get the guy to, take the photo, delete the photo,
Right.
Stuff like that. But, hey, it's got people talking. It's got people talking about AEW. It's got a lot of interest going and a lot of conversation, and be interested to see where it goes from there. Supposedly, they were quote unquote just talking about business. Their love of the business, growing up, second generation, and you just wonder who took the video, how did they react when the video was taken, and there's a lot behind the scenes. Shout out to Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray Dudley, who got a comment from Shane saying, we were just there talking, about our love of the business, and I congratulate him on 5 years. And Bubba's spidey senses told Bubba, and this is on Busted Up Radio, friends of the show. It told him that there's more to this than just a friend at the airport. So we'll see where it goes there.
I don't necessarily think that like there's anything nefarious with like Shane McMahon meeting with Tony Khan. You know what I mean? Like, and I it's almost like I think people sometimes can make a mountain out of a molehill, right? Like it's like, oh, these people saw each other in the airport or they were talking, and like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that happens, right?
Yeah.
But I don't believe that this is. It's almost like for me with Shane McMahon, it's like when there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Yes.
And I would not be surprised to see Shane McMahon appear on AEW television. I don't know the dynamics as far as like what's going on with the McMahon family, like, because we don't know. Nobody really knows, right? Like what the beef is between Shane and Hunter.
I don't know what
Stephanie.
I don't know what the beef is, but I recently listened to Jim Ross's recent audiobook, Business About to Pick Up, and he subtly mentions that there's like a McMahon civil war within the company, and he didn't go into any further detail because like the book came out like right before all this other breaking news happened with Vince, and
right.
You know, Vince was out, then Steph was back in. Vince came back, Stephanie left.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, it's unfortunate, but yeah, the story is, that I got, you know, the inference I got from that was that there's a little bit of infighting amongst the McMahon. So
yeah,
is this Shane getting intel for WWE, or is the Shane trying to, go and get another payday outside of WWE? You know, he's seeing what everybody else is getting paid. Oh, what can I get them to pay me?
Yeah. How much money can you throw at me to do, a coast to coast here again? But for a second, I almost wondered if it was like Shane being like a goodwill ambassador between the two companies. You know what I mean? Like being an intermediary or something like that. But again, I think, which is possible, but I think it's more likely that Shane's going to appear on AEW at some point.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, all right, see what happens. You know what I mean? Like where do we go from here? Like, hey, we get the big pop like we do with all these other things, but like what next? How does it go from here?
I wonder how much this killed the initial pop if like if some folks hadn't seen the photo and he disappeared, you know?
Yo, for sure.
But then again, I always say the internet is, a small percentage of but then again, AEW's the product for the people who are always on the internet, following wrestling and stuff like that. So kind of try to balance that out. I always say the internet's the vocal minority.
Yeah.
You never want to cater to the internet. Once you start catering to the internet, you gotta, cater to the broader audience. You gotta get, Mrs. Walmart, that, occasionally watch here and there, and oh my God, Stone Cold's coming back. Maybe I'll watch this week. You gotta get those casual viewers. So I don't know if the casual viewers would have seen it, but if the word gets out that Shane McMahon's back, but he's in a different company, I can see that drawing some interest.
Yeah, I think again, it's just like it's almost like the I don't want to say the continuing fatal flaw, but like it definitely is an Achilles heel is like with AEW right now is how do we continue to keep interest in the brand? How do we keep people coming back? And maybe that's why Shane is there. Like, hey, this is what we did before. This is how we did it in WWE. This is how it's going to work. It's always anything's possible.
Yeah,
but I'm excited though. I'm curious, like morbidly curious to see what happens next. I'm sure it's going to be explosive once it ricochets through the internet. But yeah, it was a fascinating photo, fascinating development. I think it's
the look on Shane's face, the look on Tony's face.
Yeah.
And, Bubba Ray Dudley superimposed himself in there as if he was taking a selfie with them, which popped me huge.
That's hilarious.
Bigly. Yeah, so
popped me bigly. Yeah, that is shout out to Bully Ray, by the way, our friend of the show. Awesome, dude. Actually, so one more thing before we get into, and I'll keep it brief. But I went to my very first GCW event yesterday evening. I went with Sir Wilkins from the Jobber Tears podcast and Muscle Man Malcolm. We went over to we watched Zilla Fatu wrestle Joe Bishop, I believe is his name. Fantastic match. Zilla Fatu is incredible for only been doing it for a year. Another member of the prestigious Bloodline family in wrestling. And the former Jinder Mahal was there fighting Effie as well. But we got to watch Nick Gage fight Matt Hardy in his debut match for GCW, which was very cool. I was expecting it to be a lot more violent than it actually was. Like I was expecting to see a lot more blood, a lot more, violence. But I didn't see as much as I thought I was going to. So I wanted to know your thoughts. Have you been to a GCW show? And I wanted to know what your thoughts were on their production, because I thought it was top notch.
Everything I know about GCW is what I see online.
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Brett Lauderdale, who's really made that company something huge. You know, it's like I see them running shows all over the country, all over the world. And I'm amazed at how I don't know how he does it, but it's amazing that he does do that. You know, I tried running shows at one point and it was the hardest thing I could ever imagine. So to see where he's done with GCW and the levels he's taken to GCW is really cool. Something you said that stood out to me was, you know, you went to your first GCW event and you're expecting to see much more blood, more violence, but you didn't see all that much. And there, you know, a lot of people, you know, talk about ECW. They're like, oh, it's blood and guts, this, that, and the other, that. But if you went to an ECW event, you know, most of the card was, you know, pure wrestling. You know, it wasn't blood and guts. It's blood and guts that got people in the building because they were promised a match or two matches that might have had blood and guts. But, you know, for the most part, you know, the undercard was people, you know, wrestling and having matches and, you know, so it's funny you say that because, you know, that's why I always tell people, you know, when it comes to ECW, people saw the sizzle reel. You know, people from the outside saw the sizzle reel, the highlight reel, and thought that's all the company was, and it wasn't. So, but I'm glad you went. It was cool to see that, you know, Matt is working for them. You know, I think Matt Cardona was the example of, you know, you could go to GCW and you know, work and have a good time. You know, like he was the you know, it's like, you know, bringing back to the Phillies, you know, the Phillies, you know, early on, in the early 2000s, you know, really wasn't a destination place. But then Jim Thome came and joined the Phillies from, you know, Cleveland. And then like every free agent was like, oh, I guess Philly's a good place to go to, you know, to apply my trade. So Matt Cardona goes to GCW, you know, and, you know, now that Matt Cardona's there and doing great things, people, you know, other town are going, oh, well, I guess I could go to GCW too. So
yeah,
he's opened the door to, you know, like you said, Jinder was there last night. So, you know, working. So, yeah, they're getting a lot of different talent that you probably wouldn't usually see at a GCW event. You know, if you've been to like the early GCW shows, but they put on a product that's, you know, pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, it was a great show. I really enjoyed it. There were, like I said, lots of great talent to discover, and I thought it was a great event. So, shout out to the folks at GCW for putting on a solid program. But you're right, you know. To your point, like you said, it's, I remember a lot of the wrestling aspect and components of the original ECW being, like you said, very much the same way. It was just a wrestling show. It was the wild shit that got people talking. They're like, oh my God, look at how terrible it is. But it's like 80% of the show isn't even like that. You know what I mean? Like 80% of what ECW was not that extreme stuff that was happening. It was just specific pockets of it. So, no, I thought it was good. Looking forward to catching up with more local indie stuff, and just, you know, expanding my worldview. But speaking of expanding worldviews and potentially gaining knowledge, if you will, indeed, sir, excuse me, just 1 second. Al, I really need you to keep it down. I know that you're upset. I know you're hungry. There's looks like you have some pee in that Sprite bottle over there. So you can wash your hands if you need to, but the gummies are coming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's just relentless today. I apologize.
You gotta keep him in check, bro.
I promise that it's coming. All right. Maybe you'll get pizza today. We'll see. Sorry about that, yo. I appreciate that. Al is just, me too. Al is just down here in these accommodations we give him, and he's complaining. It's a lot. But I have a question for you, sir.
Yes.
Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the program each and every single week. We have a question right here from RJ Krasinski. What's up, RJ? What's going on?
Pause 1 second. I know you're.
Yes. Forgot.
I have mine. Oh, you have yours.
I do. I did bring one. Yep, I did bring it. It's the cheap shit from Aldi all the way from Philadelphia. It's the pink grapefruit, my favorite flavor. What do you got today?
Surprise. Well, I think we got some breaking news. This might be my last pumpkin pie.
What?
Seltzer. So I will cherish this until next fall. Until 3 months from now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we almost got an entire year through those cases.
Yeah. Wow. I reached into the case and I felt one. I went, oh no. So, but well, pumpkin pie, Bellevue, ready to open, ready to enjoy. And 3,
back in here.
2, 1.
There she is.
There we go.
Pinkies up. Cheers, beers. Oh, good shit, pal. All right, let's get back to our questions now.
I will remember you.
RJ Krasinski, what's up, RJ? Thank you for your questions each and every week. Don't forget to check out Reffing It Up. RJ? Check out Reffing It Up with him and Jimmy Corderas and Brian Hebner. How would you rate the big 4 WWE PLEs?
Yeah, the big 4, original 4, however you want to call them. Mm-hmm. Of course, the one, number 1 at the table would be WrestleMania.
Yep,
that's the OG Mac Daddy. Even though I believe the first pay-per-view was the Wrestling Classic in Chicago, but I could be wrong. But as far as the big 4 annual events that have been going on for decades and decades, WrestleMania, number 1. Mm-hmm. For me, number 2 would be Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. Because Royal Rumble has so many implications that lead into WrestleMania. It's like the kickoff of WrestleMania season. Number 3 would be SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Which to me, SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the summer.
Yeah.
Especially now that, they're going to, SummerSlam's going to stadiums, and SummerSlam's going to be a 2-night event in the next couple of years. Excited about that. And then number 4, the cousin Oliver of top 4 PLEs, the one lagging behind that's keeping the front 3, slowing down their pace, Survivor Series. But I will, Survivor Series was good when it first came out. Teams of 5 strive to stay alive, which didn't really translate to the tag team division when the tag team Survivor Series, and you had 20 men on the apron.
Yep.
And but initially, it was a fun concept. It was a Thanksgiving tradition that was designed to mess with Jim Crockett Promotions and their Starrcade. Vince started running Survivor Series, and he would tell people, well, if you run Starrcast, you'll if you carry Starrcast against a Survivor Series, you might not get WrestleMania, which kind of screwed up, but that's what they did. But getting back to topic, my 4 in order would be WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. Even though I enjoy SummerSlam a little bit more than Royal Rumble, but I have to recognize Royal Rumble is number 2, SummerSlam, and then Survivor Series, which I'm enjoying now that they've made it a War Games event.
Absolutely. I think that's really rejuvenated.
Oh, no, yeah.
They have really rejuvenated the brand by bringing War Games and integrating that into the event.
It's like the Reese Cup, the chocolate and the peanut butter, the best, one of the best.
That's both worlds.
Yeah, but one of the best concepts from Jim Crockett Promotions meeting, one of the creations from WWE. You're combining 2 events, which is smart.
Yeah. can't go wrong there. I would love to see them, honestly, and I'm a big proponent of this, and I know it probably will never happen, but I would love to see Halloween Havoc be a part of like a main roster pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Love Halloween Havoc, but
why not?
Yeah, why not do it? I mean, it's a great NXT brand, but I would love to see it as a main staple on the event.
Absolutely.
Our last question today comes from our friend Carlo Carlson. Coke Zero, my fave drink on Twitter. Hey, Blue and Goob. Hello, sir. Good to see you. What up? Blue, who are you cornering in a match with, if in this hypothetical scenario, between Stevie and Nova? And Goob, what is your favorite beverage? So we'll start with your question first.
That's like a total Sophie's Choice type question right there.
Just going to say that.
I mean, Stevie brought me into ECW, but Nova, and him had an actual tag team career, so to speak. Stevie went to WCW, and me and Nova had to find ourselves within ECW, and prove to Paul that, hey, we weren't leaving, with Stevie and Raven. Just on a technically that me and Nova had actual, we're an actual tag team. BWO was a 6-man tag, but like when, after Stevie left, me and Nova were a tag. I would have to say, hate to say it, but I hate to choose, but probably Nova. Probably be cornered with Nova. Just because he asked the questions and I had to give an answer.
Yeah, you got to.
That was the math I was doing in my head on the fly. So I probably have to. Can't I just be the Seth Rollins and be the referee? Nova. I'll go with that.
If you were going to be the special guest referee, you'd have to wear blue pinstripes instead of black. But
yes.
My favorite beverage? It depends. I'm a big fan of the sparkling ice Starburst flavors. The orange flavor is my favorite. I try to stock up on them as much as I can. I only drink soda twice a year because I don't. Soda is just not good for me. It makes me feel like shit. But when I do drink a soda, it's either root beer or it's Fresca. I love Fresca.
Yeah.
That's good shit. But yeah, I think that's probably a good answer right there. I think those are my favorite beverages. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I think that's it. I think those are my answers that I'm going to give you there, Carlo. So
I usually don't drink soda, but when I do it, like every now and then I enjoy a good fountain cola.
Yeah. Something from a nice cold fountain somewhere. Yeah, dude.
And usually at night after drinking, because there's something about that syrup that just cures a hangover.
Yeah.
That or Gatorade,
Yeah, if I'm going to do root beer, I usually do Barks root beer. I'm a fan of that as opposed to A&W. But those are my go-to, man. But thank you for the questions and thank you for sending them in. Don't forget, like I said, every week, tweet us using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear your questions on the show. And Meanie, I want to thank you for doing the program. And I also, if you wouldn't mind hitting the breaking news for me button real fast, if you don't mind. Meanie and I have a very special announcement for you next week. We have a very special announcement for you next week. So I want you to keep it tuned next week to this station right here that you're listening to on your ear pods or perhaps in your car that hopefully Nate Smythe has sold you at Sheridan Ford Sales, which you should go see him. But we have an announcement for you next week. So stay tuned to that. Meanie, I want to thank you for being here every week with us, doing this program with us. And where can everybody keep up to date with all things blue when they're not listening to the program?
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Blue Meanie on all forms of social media. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Colin Elbow, the wrestling brand, go to ColinElbowBrand.com. Use coupon code Meanie or use coupon code MIND and save 10% over there at ColinElbowBrand.com. If you're in the Philly area and need t-shirts printed up, go to JPT's for your t-shirt print needs. JPT's is a family-owned business that has been making quality printed shirts since 1986. For more information, go to jpts.com. That's the letter J, the letter P, TEES.com. MadCatBeardCare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton, who just totally redesigned my product. It looks sharp, looks great. And you'll look good and you'll smell good if you go to MadCatBeardCare.com. He rounds up the kitties in his neighborhoods and gets them fixed up and sends them off better than he found them. So if you're a cat lover like myself, go to MadCatBeardCare.com. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters created by the amazing Hal Haney, but many real-world wrestlers, including myself and many others. Go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com or on Twitter at UPW Video Game. The Figure Collection's Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1 variants of the Blue Meanie are available now. All Series 1 can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in search bar. Select a regular Blue Meanie or BW Blue Meanie. Either way, there's no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. Register your podcast. Book the Blue Guy. Let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holiday, and well wishes. I love doing these. Book through the site, not through the app. The app takes way too much of your hard-earned cash that you're trying to pay these talents to do these messages for you. Seriously, go over there at cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. Let's make somebody's day a little bit brighter. But most importantly, Mr. Barnard, where can people find you, sir?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads at This Is Goober. Yes, that is my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand pal. You can find me there. And don't forget to subscribe to Foundation Radio's YouTube channel at foundationradio.com/@Foundation Radio Pod. All of my content from SummerSlam weekend is coming up there now. My interviews with Jade Cargill, Bailey, and Rhea Ripley are live as we speak. So go ahead and check them out. Go ahead and shout out to the homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop in downtown Lawrenceville on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go ahead and check them out. Get your hair cut and beard trim scheduled today with Kane or Jordan or the rest of the team at 10thwardbarbershop.com. Feinberg Method. Go to the feinbergmethod.com and use promo code Goober and save up to 20% off your entire purchase. My trainer, Brad Feinberg, is ready to help you with your mental and physical well-being. So go to the feinbergmethod.com. ProWrestlingTees.com/Foundation Radio. ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at Casa DeMeanie and the Barnard home for wayward and troubled youth. Don't forget to sign up today at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Tiers start at just $10 a month. You can join us each and every week early and ad-free and watch us record early on the show as well. And if you look above Meanie's head, go ahead and hit the subscribe button where you're watching this right now at youtube.com/@Mind of the Meanie and keep up to date with everything we have coming up. If you look underneath us as well here, you can subscribe to us on all forms of social media at Mind of the Meanie everywhere across the board. And I want to thank you, Blue Guy, for being here each and every week. I want to thank the Pod Squad for being here as well. We appreciate you. And thank you again for all of your birthday wishes. I genuinely appreciate you, each and every one of you. Happy to be here for, thank you, sir. Happy to be here for another go round the sun. And we will see you again next week for the Blue Meanie. I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
That was Blue Meanie's brain out.